Hello and welcome back everyone. Tone here, ready to play some more Slice and Dice. Our last run was quite short, ended by the quadruple snakes floor on floor 7. Probably one of the most difficult floors in the game. I actually think that my first videos I did on 2.0 when I started on Unfair and probably got a little lucky and we ended up with a 3-game streak. I think the game I played after that, which I never uploaded, actually ended to possibly the same floor or like a 3+ snake floor of some variety early like that. That's a really dangerous floor. I think it's harder than a lot of the boss floors, or at least if you're not prepared for it. And I think it's equally important to be aware of that floor and that type of floor when you're choosing your curses and building your team so you can deal with it. And like I said in that run, even before that floor beat us, like, you can't, that poison is just like extra damage every turn. None of your like tier 1 and tier 2 heroes you have at that point can out heal that, can out block that. It literally can't be blocked over time, so you really need damage, and for that reason I skew very heavily towards damage early on in this game. It's also important for like Bramble is another one where you have to have enough damage sides on your dice because they make it so you can only play each side once. Damage is pretty important early on in this game, and 2.0 here is what I have been noticing. But we are going to jump into a fresh Unfair game, and I'm excited to see what happens here. By the way, if you guys would like to support my channel and other related projects, you can do so over at patreon.com/Tonehack, so feel free to take a look at that. And something interesting here, we have a blessing, which I feel like is pretty notable because they aren't super common to have blessings, and so this means we can take this, but then we need an extra 2 points of curses to go up to 12. Most of the blessings I've seen have been 3 or 4 value, and because of that they pushed the average value of all of the other curses up by quite a bit and made the run pretty difficult because of that, or the choices very difficult because there were a few, like, some of the higher level curses are just like unpickable. I think we talked about this last time too. One was like add ogre to every fight. It's like I don't think so. What does this one even do? Deep pockets, all heroes, +1 item slot, max 3. That seems decent. I don't know if it's worth picking for 2 more curse points. You can make some strong single heroes by stacking lots of items on them. There are probably some incredibly broken combos where when you mix in a 3rd item, some hero just gets nuts. And I know there are times where I've been like, oh yeah, this item will be good here, and I try to put it on someone, and I'm like, oh, I already have 2 items on them, and it breaks the combo if I don't have one of those other items. So this could be useful, but it feels pretty situational. I wonder if this skews you towards taking random items that give you multiple from lower tiers when offered a reward option. Probably not, but possibly. I mean, it makes it a little bit better. But I think having a bunch of low tier items synergizing with each other isn't usually quite as good as having like some of the higher tier items. I'm guessing I'm not going to take that, but it's interesting for sure. Notably, this doesn't help us at all until our 3rd item, which is on what? Floor 7 or so? And that assumes we put all our items on 1 hero. Again, unless we take a reward that offers multiple. So, interesting option here. Probably not going to pick it. Let's see what we have here otherwise, though. At the end of each turn, 1 damage to all allies. This is interesting. This is kind of like having 1 poison to all allies. Except it cannot be cleansed. And this can be blocked, which I think actually makes it a little better than poison in a lot of ways, especially with how rarer cleanse is in this game, or this version, I feel. That actually seems like something I would take for 5. I know this is rough, especially early. Oh my god, with loss, it's kind of brutal. But this is intriguing for sure. We have Hero Decay. All heroes add 1 decay to all sides, which means they get -1 after use. That, I don't know if I've taken that before. Feels okay. It's like a lighter version of all heroes having single use sides. This one makes our middle hero have max HP of 1. That's pretty tough because the middle hero is the one that gets hit by cleaves the most. It's also where you can get like statue offered as a reward, and statue's whole thing is that they have a lot of health. That's literally all they have going for them. Monster charged. All monsters get a bonus to all sides equal to your current mana, so basically you have to spend all your mana at the end of your turn or you get punished for it. That one's not too bad usually. A and E monsters get +1 HP for each A and E in their name. Oops. Oh, I reset my stats recently. I guess I can't take a look at those. I need to get those back up. I did that because I mentioned last time, I started just like spamming games to learn, see what curses are there, and just like see things and experience things in the game without really like playing too seriously. And I mean, I'm not playing too serious, like super seriously still, but I feel like I have a much better grasp on the game, and I feel like all those like games I was just kind of like spamming them and throwing them and seeing what happens kind of thing, experimentation phase is what I'd probably refer to it as. I think probably skewed my stats, so I decided to do a fresh one. I did have surprisingly, I think 9 out of 32 games were wins on unfair. I was surprised by that actually, so we'll see what we do after the reset now. I think I've learned the game a bit better. That again started off with like a 3-game streak. That was probably a little lucky, so I think that stat in itself was skewed. Skulk, turn 2 +1. See, a lot of people don't like this, but I don't really mind it too much. I'm gonna take Sandstorm, Monster Charge, and Skulk here. It's either that or we take Hero Decay. I think that's the cleanest combo. Hero Decay is a little awkward. I could take this in 2 3s. I don't think I like the middle 1 HP. I've never taken that one. Let's try these. How does this feel compared to a reroll? Our heroes are actually pretty decent. Which is one reason to avoid a reroll here. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with this. How does poison work against the... Okay, it does. This is from spells and dice, so I think poison is probably a good pick against the null. Our pristine is pretty good to use turn 1 here before our buckle takes damage. It'll also save them. You can get a 2 damage side a lot better, I think. Yeah, I'll take this poison for the null. Probably not killing them this turn. I mean, we could kill them this turn, but they're not doing much to us this turn. So 1 mana... Oh, we can actually spend 1 mana. It makes our heroes worse on turn 1, though. Not the loss. The loss can be our Mend Sync if we need to spend 1 mana to prevent Monster Charged Curse from making our monster stronger. That's actually nice. I think we go ahead and keep this then, because these are the only 3 usable sides, and all we can do is upgrade it, but it doesn't seem that likely. And we'll go ahead and reroll these. Engage, I can take that. I'll take that. I'm actually going to reroll the healer now, because having 3 mana this turn, when we want to spend it all, doesn't do much for us. Because I'm going to waste 1 on Mend, because I don't want to give them +1 damage each, which would kill the Lost, among other things. But if we roll 2 mana here, it'd be a nice bonus. Okay, do we just try to kill the Null this turn? Or next turn with poison? Yeah, we can do it this turn. Let's get them out of the way. I think that's lethal already. Good stuff. I could see that Sandstorm was starting to feel a little nasty there. Alright, we have the Gambler and the Medic. So, I was just talking about how I like to lean offensive, which means I feel like I should almost always take an orange over a red, unless this is like a vampire or something, or they have like good mana sides. You have a cleanse, which is nice. The cleave heal is pretty good against Sandstorm, so is the renew. The renew is pretty decent in general. I find that I don't actually end up using a lot of the defensive spells very often, even when they're good ones, over just using offensive spells like burst to kill enemies. In practice, I feel like that's something I've been noticing. It's excellent to have good ones available, but I feel like in practice I don't always end up needing them very often, because I feel like offense is a good defense. I'm just gonna take the Gambler here. Hopefully get an item that fills up blanks or something. That gives us a lot more hit points here, going from 3 to 7, which helps a lot with the Sandstorm thing we're dealing with. I think there's a lot of perks to this Gambler here, and it is the most offensive choice. I want to reference my dice probabilities for a second and see what our Gambler odds are if we reroll this one. If you don't know what I'm talking about, on my website, I believe it should be in the comments of this video below, I made some tables showing some dice probabilities that are really useful for this game. So in this instance, we rolled a 1. We have 3 damage sides, 3 like X crosses, as they're called in the parlance of the game, which would do nothing. So rolling this, we're hoping within the next 2 rolls to at least get the 1 again. But that's not what we're shooting for, because we have the 1 already, so there's no reason to risk that. But to upgrade to a 2 or a 5 is a pretty nice bonus. So, our chances of upgrading, hitting one of those 2 sides in the next 2 turns, is going to be about 55%. Our chances of staying the same are 75. Our chances of hitting that 1 are going to be about 30%. It seems like the expected value is probably to reroll here. Yeah, it's gotta be. Now, playing for expected value, which is like the best outcome on average, isn't always often isn't how you want to play games like this, because the variance is what kills you when you're playing on such fine margins. Like, if this 1 damage would kill an enemy, it would be much worth keeping than trying to get something else. What are the chances that we kill an enemy if we have this? If we get 2 damage with the Hoarder, we probably kill the Wisp with this. I feel like we just keep this and not risk it. What are our chances of losing if I don't roll? I think I'd have to roll a 5 here for it to make a difference. I think the Wisp is actually pretty important because of this pain side too. Yeah, I think we'll just keep that and kill the Wisp this turn, which we should be able to do, assuming this guy can roll a 2. We get 1 mana out of our mage or our healer. The Wisp will give us 1 when we hit this pip. This is another interesting scenario, is what are our odds of upgrading from 1 to 2 with the mage? Man, we should do some like videos just on some scenarios like this, looking at some probabilities. If anyone has any recommendations of things to look at for that, I'm open ears. But to take a quick look at this one, we have 1 mana right now. So the chances of staying the same or improving are 89% on the next 2 rolls. So basically a 10% chance that we whiff entirely. And there is a 56% chance that we upgrade. So it seems that we have, I think the expected value is there as well. And the chance that I don't get mana on either of these dice when re-rolling is pretty low. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and re-roll that. I think I keep the 2 here on the buckle. Us rolling that is not very likely. So let's re-roll everyone else. Hey, we got rewarded. I'm gonna re-roll this again, because there are a lot of sides here that give us 2 damage, and 1 is really the worst outcome anyways, especially this one. With this we can at least spread that 1 damage around. We're gonna re-roll both of these. The healing does nothing. Okay. We got what we were looking for. Ooh, I had Flare. The Flare does 5 damage. Do we accept the pain on Mage? Flare the Goblin? This is 5 damage for 4 mana. So it's like 1.25 damage per mana versus 1-to-1. So it's slightly more efficient. I think I'd honestly rather just kill the Wisp though. I think that pain side was going to be nasty against the Mage. Because I think they die no matter what next turn playing their side, so I'd rather them get us mana to do even more damage next turn, which is more, you want to think of those turns, it end up being more damage per mana overall when you consider that effect, removing their utility next turn. Except we could block for them too. Okay, I want to block for you so that we have everyone at higher health, so we can deal with the sandstorm. We got the Hammer Bros here, Hoarder and Buckle. Throwing hammers. Looks like we have lethal here. Buckle up. A Caw Egg. Summon a Caw. Charged. They can potentially summon like 6 Caws. This is scary, but I think we can do 4 damage here. By the way, I saw a dragon egg on floor 7 recently. It was actually in that video where I mentioned the last session at the beginning how I didn't realize I wasn't recording. I was just talking to myself while playing Slice and Dice. I had a really good discussion about the dragon egg that I wish I was able to make it onto the channel. So I had never seen that before. I was shocked to see it. And it like threw my world into like my whole like worldview with this game into disarray. I did check the rarity. There's an option in this game to show rarity that will tell you how common it is, and there's like a 1 in 50 chance for it to show up. But I mean, if you're trying to like streak or just maximize your win rate, like that is like a serious wrench that like really changes things. And that can show up on floor 7 and just decimate you. I got lucky with it that run. It didn't hatch for 2 turns and I killed it, but man, what a wild thing to see in the game. It's completely unbalanced and like BS if that kills you, but you know what, every game doesn't have to be like impeccably balanced. It seems like a fun addition. I don't mind it, but I could see some people getting frustrated in some scenarios where that's involved, especially if they've got like a streak going on or something, which this game like tracks your, that's like, it's the leaderboards for this game are your streaks. That's not a great thing to have for that. All right, let's see what item we have. Tattered Robes. Did I say something about replacing blank sides? I guess that doesn't really work with the Gambler. Place the 3 right sides with +1 mana, +1 max stored mana. So max stored mana does nothing for us, because we don't want to have stored mana ever. That is, though, pretty good on the Mage, because it gives them 2 more 1 mana sides. which means they always generate at least 1 mana, and then we can just roll for 2 mana. I like that a lot, especially because the even mana is more important for us, because we want to be able to play Burst and not have like 1 mana left over for next turn. I like that a lot. Also makes it more reliable that we can play Flare when our healer rolls 2 mana. It's okay on the Buckle. If we have 3 heroes rolling for mana, then we can get that Flare pretty often. And that's pretty much as good as like having defense. Having big offense like that. Actually really solid on the Buckle. And just removes their 2 damage heavy. Gambler, I'm not really feeling it. Not on the Hoarder either. Revive Potion, replace the right side with Revive the 2 topmost defeated allies. And it's a one-time use, basically, is how these potions work. So that can be okay to just throw on someone. Treat it as an X until you really need it. Nice little emergency. This one, I feel like if you need to revive heroes, it could be too little too late, where like you probably have 1 or 2 turns to actually like get the revive, and if you can't manage to roll it, then you're screwed. I'm not really feeling that. I could see a random item being reasonable here, but I like to take the value that's there. I think Tattered Robes is pretty decent, and I think I will throw on the Buckle. Get some offense going. Okay, this is gonna make a caw. Be really dangerous. We can already kill the egg though. I'm taking this. Healer lucked out and rolled 2, so this actually doesn't do anything for us. We have to kill the Thorn. Okay, well, we have guys with enough health to survive the Thorn's 5 spiky damage. So this looks pretty cut and dry. Good stuff. Our first boss, the Troll. Probably the one I'm happiest to see right now, because I think we can deal with them quite well. What do we have here? No quote-unquote, like... Well, we already upgraded our orange. I was going to say no offensive options, because that would really be like... getting our yellow upgraded probably would be the most offensive. A lot of the blues are offensive. The Evoker, I don't know how I feel about having 2 heroes with lots of X's alongside the Gambler here. Just because they become a lot better when you can replace some of their sides. And now we have 2 heroes to do that with, and we probably will not have enough resources to do that. So I'm not really feeling the Evoker pick on that. I wonder how their average mana generation compares with the Mage, even. I feel like it's not that much better. And not even just looking at like expected value for like rolling the dice, but like if we look at actual decision trees where we would logically like stop like rolling if we had this on turn 2. I wonder like which one ends up having the most output. Drop is pretty solid, 4 damage for 3. It's a little more efficient than Flare's 5 damage for 4. It's easier to cast because it costs 3, and generating 3 mana on a turn is a lot easier than generating 4, especially when you can't save mana in between turns without empowering your enemies to an extent that we will not want to. And it also is an odd mana cost, so that when we end up with 3 mana on a turn, we have something to do with that extra mana instead of, you know, spending it on Mend, which Mend's actually bad now that we got rid of Lost. So we don't have anything to do with that. I actually didn't consider that. Last turn, or last fight, we would have had 1 mana left over. Well, I could have just not used or generated the mana. So I actually like Drop a lot, but I don't like the Evoker. And what about the Knight? Shield 3 Steel. Bonus equal to their shields. Steel's always a little weird on gray heroes because they're the ones that do the shielding. So how this usually will work is if we want to spend our mana to burst them and then shield someone else even more. They have 3 damage exert, but this is a pretty weak damage side. I think I have to take the evoker here because I'm not feeling this knight, and I really like the drop spell here. And the mage is our lowest health hero, which makes them kind of at risk with Sandstorm. So upgrading them seems pretty good. I'm not feeling the amount of risk or like variance that having 2 heroes with 3 crosses is introducing to this team. But I feel like they are the pick here. I'm gonna leave this here. I definitely don't want to put it on you. Or do I? I wonder if that does make them better. I'm not gonna keep busting out the probability tables and figuring this out. We're just gonna wing it at this point. This is a straight upgrade to the healer. Kind of like on the buckle still. Kind of maximizes their chances of getting... I just want to dish out a lot of damage on this troll. There's another one where it's hard to play too defensively because they regen 1 every turn. Oof, they're poisoning me turn 1, which is really, really, really brutal for us. Okay, so I keep 2 here. If we take this 3 damage and then roll this for armor, I'm gonna keep the 2 here. I don't want this 2 because it's a pain side. You're not gonna have a lot of health here. I think we can re-roll this because engage is 2 damage this turn. Okay, that works. Drop, and I think we have to block for the healer so that they are most protected from Sandstorm and Poison. Yeah, they would have died next turn, I think. Yeesh. Oh, Skulk. I forgot about Skulk. Yeah, that's one of our curses, right? This guy has +2. This is a tough combo with Sandstorm and Skulk. Makes these turn 2s pretty dangerous. We're not killing this guy this turn either, so people are going to be dying here. Actually, we could kill this guy this turn. Let's go... I can't save you by healing. Or you, or you. You guys are just all gonna die. So let's play pure offense here. See what we can do. Oh, you rolled... Okay, I just needed you to do 2 damage there, but that works. Okay. See? Offense is our best defense, very frequently. That drop spell was pretty clutch. Although we would have been able to cast the mage's 5 damage spell both of those turns. And that fight too, so... let's see, Bandit Quartz. Interesting combination, because the Bandit's whole thing is they flee if you overkill an adjacent monster by 2 or more. The Quartz's whole thing is you can shatter them by doing 5 instead of 7 damage. So you can do 5 damage to kill the Quartz, or 9 damage to the Quartz to make them both flee. I suspect we're going to try and kill the Quartz early here, and then solo the Bandit afterwards. Oh... Okay. We have some side replacers that work pretty well with both of our heroes that we want to replace a bunch of their crosses on. You can take twin daggers, which gives you cantrip single damage sides on the top and bottom, which works really well with both of these guys. Short sword. Place the 2 right sides with 2 damage. That one's pretty good with the gambler. Although cantrips like this are basically 2 damage sides. They're not fully equivalent, especially when you're fighting things with like spiky or like basilisk that or cockatrice, I mean, that will stone them on hit, but if you roll this, it does 1 damage immediately, and then you can play it for 1 damage. So this is kind of like 2 1-damage shards as well. So I like this a little bit more than the short sword, because that one covers up sides on these, and this one doesn't. So I'm going to take the twin daggers, and I think I'm going to put it on the gambler. Like, what's more, like, gambly than adding some reroll sides like this? I like it. That means we can roll for 2 and 5 pretty frequently, too. I kind of want the Evoker to keep generating mana, especially when I have 3 characters doing that, so we can keep playing drop. Notably, drop here will hit the Bandit and not the quartz as well, which makes it harder to make the Bandit flee. But here's 3 damage for a drop right now. Or 3 to, yeah, to cast drop. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I take this, and I'm going to reroll everything else. This can only hit the Bandit right now, because it's heavy. But I can stab the Bandit with this. Then I can use this on either of them. I hit it the quartz, and then I burst the quartz, and the quartz dies. Roll 2. Do I reroll this? 1 in 6 chance of rolling an X. 4 in 6 chance of rolling 2+ damage. I think we do. Gambling, baby. 100% skill. You got it, bud. Okay. Guess we just killed the Bandit. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Is that turn 1? Yeah, these things, woo, already showing how good those twin daggers are for us right now. I'm really glad we found those. That's exactly what we needed for this combo. And what's cool is once we upgrade one of these, we can move this to the other one. So that's one weird, slight positive of having 2 characters that have the same needs, is when we find that need and we promote one of those heroes, we can shift it to the other one, and that item doesn't become useless yet. So it kind of extends the value of that item. Okay, we get another upgrade. In my agenda of offense first, I really like the vampire here. Cleave and chain. I have never procced this chain, which requires you to play a cleave before using that. Yeah, I don't have a single cleave here right now. The vampire is just so freaking good. I do like this Sanu, but vampire is good. That was kind of a snap pick. Let me take a look at the Sanu again real quick. Yeah, these 4 damage exert sides are surprisingly good, and this can come in handy in some fights, like when you have like the illusions and stuff. Two goblins and a slimer, interesting combo. Okay, 3. Ooh, they do not like you. I think I take this. Yeah, because oh wait, we have a vampire now. We don't have the mystic. That changes things a lot. You need to roll shields too, so we can protect the evoker. Because even if I kill this goblin, we need to get shielded. I don't think we're going to kill 2 things here. So we might if the gambler keeps popping off. This would actually save them if I kill the goblin. Not a very good side overall though. I'm going to reroll that. Okay, the evoker is gonna die. I see a path to protecting them. It's not one that I particularly like. I had to use 2 mana to burst block them, but they will generate more mana next turn. We can use their drop next turn. I had to kill the bottom goblin to make that happen because of where this cantrip damage went, which I much rather would have hit the top goblin, because now our drop is kind of worthless. Because the goblin's thing is they flee if they're alone, so we would just want to kill the slimer and the slimelets that this spawns, and then let this goblin flee. But we might have to kill the goblin just because we're very good at dealing damage to the top hero. That's the longer route to finishing this fight, and we can't always afford long fights because of Sandstorm. So lots to think about here. Vampire rolling this to put on our Evoker is probably something we want to do. Yeah, because killing the Goblin doesn't even save the Evoker, although this does. Man, next turn's going to be rough. I need the damage. We're just rerolling all of this. This isn't the damage. I think this does nothing for us. This is far, far, far from the damage. I don't like how this fight is going. We didn't get too screwed here, though. Well, I guess I play this on the Slimelet. This is Rampage, so it can be reused if it was lethal, so that was pretty much a free hit, but we didn't generate any mana this turn. I would have liked at least a burst. The Fuse will actually be clutch next turn. I guess I do this. And I have like 2 damage to put around. Okay, we can probably kill a Slimer and a Slimelet next turn. This heavy side will be bad next turn. Rampage might be decent. Pain will be rough. I'll protect you so that you can use that pain side if it comes up. Okay, this turn is important. Okay. Vampire coming clutch. Oh, we got lethal. That. This does 2 damage with engage. Goblin flees. Voila. No. No. Snakes. Oh man. I feel like I talked about these guys at length last session and at the beginning of this one. Yo, this floor is my nemesis now. I think we have a much better team for dealing with them now, though, because I got the offense. Got the offense. Okay, Unholy Strength. I haven't seen anything that prevents you from shielding or healing that I like, let alone both, just to get +1s down the middle, which is admittedly OP, but I think it's way too risky without being able to shield or heal anyone. I guess if you combine this with Undying, which just prevents you from dying, or that in like revives, that works pretty well, but all the Undying and like revive heroes are mostly like later in the run, so this is a bit of a speculative pick, even in that vein. I like Glass Blade quite a bit though. It gives you a 5 damage side, and if your hero dies, the Glass Blade goes away. But guess what? Our whole team might die this fight, so we're going hard here. I think I threw this on the Vampire. Do I let the Buckle do more damage with Heavy? No. Yeah, let's get more damage out of the Vampire here. Alright. We don't have that monster column making them all do like a ton of poison anymore either. Okay, so the top one's already dead. Here's another dead one. Vampire with the glass blade, hell yeah. Okay, this is a 2 damage side with engage. I like that. Like that emoticon. The monster charge thing makes figuring out fights so difficult sometimes. I think these are all doing 1 poison damage though. Who do we care about killing first? Who is the least health? Buckle? They're also the most useless though. Vampire heals themselves. Evoker feels important. I don't know, let's do this. I'm gonna have to use drop here even though it's a little inefficient. Attacking the bottom one because we might drop the top one next turn. Oh, this is the skulk turn. Okay, I got lethal already. Contrast this with the last time we fought these guys. Now, we've been skewing all of our picks towards offense pretty heavily here. And that was one of the floors we did it for, and we were able to clear it. We rolled a lot better than I did last session too, so we got our vengeance on the quad snake floor. And yeah, that was floor 7 again. Brutal floor. If you can't beat that floor, you're gonna lose. Always be ready for it. Okay, we have the Bell boss here, so maybe we will clear this, and then I'll probably end this session for the day. I like the Brute quite a bit. The Bard is very good with our Sandstorm and with the Bell, because this shield 1 to all is going to be useful every fight. But the Bard is just more reliable damage. And they shield themselves, which is good for... Or sorry, the Brute. Not the Bard. And they shield themselves against Sandstorm. Which one of these is better for this fight in particular? The Bell does 1 damage to all of our heroes at the end of every turn, so that plus Sandstorm is 2 damage per turn. Which means maybe I'm going to be trying to infuse a lot. I do like the idea of possibly being able to stun the Fanatic. No, that's not going to happen. And plus you want them to attack so they do a lot of damage. The Bard's pretty good against the Fanatic because they have a burst side too. And usually you just want to defend against the Fanatic and let them kill themselves with their pain sides. This is a really tough pick. I think I'm going to take the Bard here. There's a lot of other good yellows. The Bard's a gray that works pretty well with for us. They have the reroll, which synergizes with our Gambler and helps our Evoker. Let's go with the Bard. It's a little contrary to the DPS first thing, but I think we have pretty good damage already. I think the Vampire might need this 2 mana side. We can maybe play Infuse more. I don't know, I'd always rather roll this though. This guy has a lot of routes to 2 damage. Although not in a long fight, because they lose this, and pain is really awkward with them, and then it's just the heavy. Okay, I'll give you that so you have something to roll for. Engage won't stick around in a long fight. We'll do that. I think no one gets the Tattered Robes anymore. I don't think covering up these sides with mana is beneficial. It does make these 2 mana sides a little awkward most of the time, I think, but we'll see what happens here. Actually, it doesn't, because I guess we just double burst instead of dropping sometimes. Okay, you rolled the glass blade. Excellent. I think everyone else rerolls here. I think we all reroll again. You got 5 damage, you got 2 damage. We can almost kill the Fanatic. Bard is carrying with these rerolls right now. Let's get a... Okay. Okay. This is how I like to start out. Excellent. Let's just kill that fanatic to save the gambler. And then we just have to worry about the bell. I like it. The fanatic's really dangerous when you're all mostly tier 2s. They do a lot of damage. This is a drop right here. You're doing 8 damage to the evoker. We're not going to kill you, and we're not going to block that very easily with anything except for the bard rolling charge, which if we roll them with charge, then we need these to save you. So I'm going to go ahead and keep those. 5 damage, I'll keep the 2 damage. I think I re-roll you? Or do I just let the evoker die? What happens if the evoker dies this turn? You take 5, we drop, you take another 5, you take 2. Do I have lethal this turn? I feel like I almost do. I think there's a lot of paths to lethal this turn if they roll either this or this. Or this would just prevent the evoker from dying. I think this would have given us lethal. So the evoker has to die, unfortunately. Oh, and it would have been after... Okay. Any lethal would have been after they kill the evoker anyway, so we really would have wanted that side. But yeah, I think everything pointed to us having to kill them this turn, and actually reliably killing them this turn, so... Not too bad. Oof. Floor 9 sniper. We will leave this chest till next time. And yeah, we'll leave it here for now. Interesting. I just really like our party right now. I feel like we've been... I mean, we weren't even offered like amazing choices all the time, but we made some things really work here, and we played to our strengths, and we made smart decisions, and I feel like our party is pretty strong right now. We're playing into our curses. It's good stuff, and I think the game will get pretty difficult for us in the next few floors, so hopefully we continue to make good choices and decisions and keep that momentum going here. But yeah, I'm excited to see where this run goes. But for now, leaving this here. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take it easy, everyone.